This video is made possible by CinePunch.
Well, I didn't see him in a vehicle. You have a crime and a suspect description. I got the guy that was walking through the parking lot.
Hey everyone, in this After Effects tutorial, we will learn how to create a cinematic intro animation inside of After Effects without using any plugins. You will also learn various different tricks and techniques along the way, so stay tuned. This can be a perfect intro for your short films, music videos, TV commercials, movies, and much more. So without any further ado, let's jump into After Effects and get started. CinePunch is the biggest motion graphics bundle in the world right now, with over 10,000 elements including transitions for Premiere Pro. You get 18 effects pack including color looks, particle elements, fog elements, flare elements, lights transitions, overlays, real film elements to produce an organic look. If you are a video editor, then this bundle has all the tools that you'll ever need. To know more about CinePunch, check out the link in the description below. Alright guys, here we are in After Effects. So let's start by creating a new composition. Call this main. 1920 by 1080, 30 fps, 10 seconds long. Hit OK. So here we have our main comp. Let's create a new comp for our text. So let's call this text and hit OK. Select the text tool and then you can type in any text that you want. You can also use a logo as well if you want. That would also look very good. So here we have our text, the future. Now on this text, I'm going to add a very simple animation which comes inbuilt in After Effects in the animation presets section. So all you have to do is jump into it, go and find that up. So let's go into the text section and animate in, and it should be at the very bottom, I think. That is typewriter. Just drag and drop it. So now we have a very nice and simple text animation, but it's a bit too long, so I need to keep it short. So I'll hit U to reveal the keyframes, and let's go to 1 second and drag this keyframe right over here. Hold shift to snap the keyframe to the timeline, and now we have this really nice and simple animation. On this, I want to add a nice and simple tracking animation as well. So I'll go into the animate and go into the tracking. Now one more thing that I would like to say before we proceed, that this tutorial I'm gonna the speed of this tutorial is gonna be a bit faster because there are so many different things that we want to cover in this complete tutorial. So yeah, just bear with me, and if you think that I'm going too much fast, you can just slow down the speed of the video from the YouTube section. You know how to do that, right? So anyway, here we have the tracking option. I'll create a keyframe on the tracking at 0. Let's go all the way up to 10 seconds and set this to, maybe let's go with 13. So we have this nice and simple animation. Maybe I'll set this to 15. I think 13 is a bit too slow. Okay, that is looking much better. So here we have our text animation ready to roll. Let's go back into our main comp, drag in the text composition. There we have it. Let's add a nice background to this. So hit Ctrl Y to add a background, to create a new solid actually. Call this BG to make it, black. Hit OK. Let's drag and drop it into the background. And then let's go into the image section, and here I have a city map that I'm going to use for this. So let's drag and drop that. Now you can download the free project file from the description, and all the assets will be included in it, so make sure to check that out so you can access all the files that we will be using for this tutorial. So here we have the city map. Let's hit F4 so we can see the 3D properties and turn that into 3D, turn the text into 3D as well. So here we have our city map. Let's actually create a new camera really quick and make this 50 millimeters. Hit OK. Create a new null object, make it 3D. Before making it 3D, let's align the anchor point into the center. So you can just hold Control, double click, and then align it into the center, make it 3D, and link or parent the camera to the null object. If you don't see this parent option, you can click right over here, go into columns, and add the parent option. So here we have the null. Let's rename this to C control for camera control, and now we can easily control our camera using this null object. So I'll go to 1 second, select the camera, select the null object, hit P, create a keyframe, hit R, create a keyframe on the Z rotation. Let's hit U so we can see just those properties. Go back and set the Z rotation to, let's go with something like maybe 90 degrees, and let's zoom this all the way in, just like so, just like that. So we have a very simple animation. As you can see, let's set this to full. That is looking pretty good. All right, now let's actually go right here, increase the scale of the background, that is a city map. So hit S and let's scale this up a bit, just a touch, maybe something like that. Now let's select the city map, go into effects and preset and type in invert, which is basically going to invert the complete look. Let's hit T to bring down the opacity and bring that down to around 8%. So we want very little bit of background for the scene, and also scale that up a bit, just a touch. So now we have this really cool animation, as you can see. Let's select the text layer, hit P to bring down the position properties, and let's pull this a bit forward. So let's go with something like -300 should be good. And yep, that is looking very nice. Let's select the keyframes, hit F9 to easy ease those keyframes. Go into the graph editor, right click and select edit speed graph. Let's go at the very beginning, select this point and drag the handle to the left, holding shift. So we have a nice smooth animation. Also, I think I'll move this keyframe to around 2 seconds. The animation is looking a bit too fast. Yep, that is looking much better. And then I'll go into the camera, reveal the properties, and add a little bit of animation in the position section. So I'll go to 1 second, create a keyframe on the position, go all the way up to 10 seconds, and let's zoom out a bit like so. Maybe actually let's zoom in. Yep, that is looking much better, as you can see. Now at the moment, our camera animation is very, it doesn't look like a handheld camera. So to give it a little bit of nice motion to this, you can add a wiggle expression. So I'm going to hold Alt and click on the position stopwatch. Let's type in wiggle, parentheses. Let's go with the frequency of 2 and the value of 7, and close parentheses. So now we should have a really nice, handheld feel to our camera. You can see, looks pretty nice. Okay. Now let's start building up our complete scene using the elements. So to do that, let's create a new composition, and I'm going to create a fractal map. Hit OK. Let's hit Ctrl Y to create a new solid. Call this F for fractal, and let's go into effects and preset. Type in fractal noise. Double click to apply that up. Now let's change the noise type from soft linear to block and increase the contrast all the way up really high, and bring down the brightness a bit, just like so. Also make sure to bring down the complexity to 1. Go into transform and set this to around 200. So we have this kind of blocks, and let's animate this block. So I'm going to hold Alt and click on the stopwatch of evolution, and let's type in time times 50. So we have a nice animation just like that. And now we will be using this as a track mat. So let's actually copy this. So hit Control C, go back into the main comp, hit Control V to copy paste that up, bring that down. So select the city map, hit Control D to duplicate it, delete the invert from this, go into Fix and Presets and type in Tint. Double click to apply that up. You can also just solo that up so you can see more properly what's going on. I'm going to swap the colors and change this to a nice red color. Now let's select the city map, hit F4 and change the track matte to Luma matte. So now you can see if I just increase the opacity for now we have the scenes visible only in the section of the track matte. So we are driving the values from the black and white section. You can also maybe increase the speed of the evolution a bit. So I can just hit U 2 times and let's set this to around 150. So we have something like that. I think it's a bit too fast. Let's go with 100. And one more thing that I forgot to do is make sure it is 3D. So hit F4 and make it 3D as well. So we have this really nice animation. As you can see, looking very nice. Okay, so far so good. Let's create a new composition. This is going to be our world map comp. So call this world map. Hit OK. Let's drag and drop in the world map that we have. But now we just want the strokes of this particular image and that too in an animated format. So to do that, I'm going to use an effect called Vegas. Double click to apply that up. Set the blending mode to transparent and set the color to white for now. Let's bring down the segments to 2. So now we need to animate the rotation of the strokes. So again, I'm going to use the same expression, hold Alt and click on the stopwatch, go into time times 50. So now we have a very nice and simple animation, as you can see, looking pretty good. Maybe bring up the end opacity to 0.5 and the start opacity to 0.5, or maybe let's bring up the start opacity to 0.1 and this one to 0.7. Yeah, that looks much better. So that is looking good. Let's go back into our main comp, drag and drop in the world map composition just like so. Hit P to bring down the position, make it 3D actually, and then we can just adjust it a bit just like that. Also hit T and bring down the opacity to 60%. Go into Fix and Preset and type in Fill. Double click and make it blue color. You can of course go with any color that you like, but I'm going to go with a nice combination of red and blue in this. Okay, so far so good. That is looking pretty sweet. Now let's go ahead into the fractal comp that we created, and now I'm going to tweak it and create a different fractal noise for this. So first of all, let's go ahead and drag in the world map again in this and change the track matte. So hit F4 and change the track matte to Luma matte. So now our track matte is only visible in the map area. So let's change the noise type from block to soft linear and bring down the contrast to around 200 and bring up the brightness actually to -50. Okay, and then let's go in the transform section. I'm going to set this to 150. Okay, doesn't look really good at the moment, so increase the complexity to 6. And let's actually select the world map, and I want to add an effect on this. So let's go into effects and preset and type in CC. I guess it was the ball action. Yeah, that is what I'm going for. Let's bring down the grid spacing to around 4 and bring down the ball size to 50. So you get this really nice pattern, as you can see. So I'm going to copy this, hit Control C, paste it on the fractal noise as well. And also I'm going to add an effect called mosaic on this and increase the horizontal blocks to around 85 and the vertical blocks to around, let's go with 60. So now you can see we get this really cool look. Okay, but now you can see it's not properly visible at the moment. So we need to crank up the alpha channel of this, or you can easily just do that using curves. So I'll select the layer, go into effects and preset and type in curves. There you go. And now I'm going to create few points right here, just like that. And then just increase this all the way up. Now you can see it's nicely visible and we get this really cool look. As you can see, this is looking super cool. Maybe I can increase the grid spacing a bit to around 100 and this one to 100 as well. Let's see. Yep. So that is looking much better, as you can see. But I want to increase the evolution speed of this fractal noise. So I can hit U 2 times and let's change this to 100. Let's see. Yep, that is looking much better. Also, I can actually scale this up a bit. There you go. This is looking pretty good. Now let's go back into our main comp and drag and drop in the fractal map that we just created. Make it 3D and let's hit P and let's set this to somewhere around, I guess, minus 500 should work. Hit S and scale this down just like that. So now we have a little bit more depth into the scene. Maybe I'll go into the position and set this to minus 700. Okay, so this is looking pretty good actually. Let's go into effects and preset and type in fill. Double click to apply that up. You can keep it white if you want, but I'm gonna go with a nice blue color. Okay, hit Control D to duplicate it. Rotate this into the Z rotation, set this to 180 and set this one to red. So we get a variation of both the colors. And I can simply just position it into the place that I want. Just like that. As you can see, this is looking pretty nice. Now I don't want the fractal map to appear on top of my text. So to do that, to fix that, I'm going to select the layer, select the rectangular tool and create a simple mask just like that. Hit M or just invert this up. I'm going to do the same thing right here as well. Select this, create a mask and invert that up. So now the fractal map is not, it's not going to affect on the top of our text. And this has started to look really nice, as you can see. Maybe I can select this fractal map, hit P and set this to minus 1000. So we get a bit more variation. You can see this is looking pretty sweet. So let's hit Control Y to create a new solid. Call this V for vignette. And let's add a nice vignette to this. So select the ellipse tool. And from the center, holding Control, I'm just going to create a nice ellipse just like that. Invert it, hit F and feather this up to around 1200. That is a bit too much. 500. Okay, that looks much better. Let's select the fractal map, hit T and bring down the opacity to around 60 so that it doesn't overpower the complete scene. And then I can create a new adjustment layer. Let's do a really quick color correction. So go into effects and preset and add a curves. Let's select the red channel, increase that a bit. Select the blue channel and increase that a bit. Go into the RGB section and create a little bit of contrast. Also on the text, I can add a nice glow. So I'm going to select the default glow, that is this one. Increase the radius really high. Let's create a new adjustment layer again and add some optics compensation. So I'm going to call this chroma because we will be also adding some little bit of chromatic aberration on the edges. So let's go into the effects and presets, type in optic compensation, double click to apply that up. Set this to reverse and maybe I'll go with something like 25, and then add 3D glass. Go into the left view and select the chroma, that is the adjustment layer, and set the 3D view to balance color red and blue. And now you can see on the edges we get this really nice kind of a chromatic aberration look, which looks pretty cool. You can also increase the optic compensation if you want to go really intense, but I think 30 looks good. Now let's add some assets from the Cinepunch that will really, pump up the complete project. So I'll go into the video section. So firstly, I'm going to add some nice particles. So I'm going to drop that right over here. Let's hit S and scale that down to 50. Actually, let's make it 3D and place this into somewhere around minus 500, and also change the blending mode to screen. So now we have some nice particles as well into the scene. As you can see, it looks very nice. And then what I can do is let's add a glitch mat that we have. So this is going to really give a very nice feel to the complete scene. So I'm going to drag and drop that, hit S and scale that down to 50. Make it 3D and change the blending mode. So I'm going to hit F4 and change the blending mode to soft light. And this is going to give a really cool look. Also increase the time duration of this video that we have to 150. Now if you don't see this stretch panel, you can just click right here, go into columns, and there you'll find it. And now let's preview the complete animation. So now the project is a bit heavy, so it may take some time to RAM preview. So let's actually preview the first 3 seconds. Let's see what we get. And yep, I think this is looking absolutely amazing. As you can see, using some very simple technique, you can create this very cool looking, high-tech futuristic looking intro animation inside of After Effects. And there are so many different things that you can do with this cool look. As you can see, this is a complete 3D animation. So what you can do is select the camera, or actually let's create a new camera so we don't mess up this one. So let's create a new camera, 50 millimeters, and you can just rotate it and create a different angle for the animation. So I can just simply rotate that. You can see very easily I can create a different camera angle for this, as this is completely 3D. So there are a number of different possibilities using this cool technique, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something new throughout this complete long tutorial, and if you did, then do let me know in the comment section below. Now the last thing that we need to add is a nice color segment on the left and the right side to improve the complete look of this project. So it's very simple. All you have to do is hit Ctrl Y to create a new solid. Call this maybe OV for overlay underscore 01. Make it red. Hit OK. Let's select the ellipse tool and create a mask just like that on the edge. Select the mask, hit Ctrl T. Let's place it somewhere around there. Hit F and feather this up really high, just like so. Then I can select the mask again, hit Ctrl T, and just adjust the position of this. So make sure to select it, hit Ctrl T, and I'll push this a bit to the left. And maybe feather this up to around 1200. Yep, that looks much better. Hit Ctrl D to duplicate this, hit U, hit M to reveal the mask, hit Ctrl T, and let's hold Shift and place this one right here, just like that. Also, I can simply just add a fill on this to give it a different color. A nice blue. And now you can see our complete comp looks much more, nice. So there we go. And also one last thing is to animate this. So hit T to bring down the opacity, create a keyframe, go at the very beginning and set this to 0. So we have a nice and simple opacity animation for this. You see, looks super cool. So that is a wrap for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please do subscribe, comment and like, and do let me know in the comment section below which technique you learned from this tutorial. Make sure to check out Cinepunch. They have some very cool assets with over 8K resolution, absolutely amazing. I'm using myself in my regular projects, so definitely check them out. Link will be into the description. So with that said, don't forget to subscribe, comment and like, and follow me on Instagram at dope.motion. We just crossed 15,000 followers on Instagram and that is freaking amazing. So I will see you in the next video. Till then, take care and don't forget to stay raw, stay creative.